So, I'm sure by now you've realized that I have a relatively big magic library. Of course, it's not as big as a lot of people's, but I think for a private collection, it's not too bad, and I'm mainly a hobbyist, I'm not like a professional, so it's not a bad collection. But yeah, so over here on my first shelf, I have all the basic magic books, all the fundamentals with some Ed Marlowe stuff mixed in as well. So The Boy Who Cried Magic, of course. My deluxe book, I guess. So of course it is the deluxe version with the two decks and the signed book. Well, it's a signed book, as in there's only the book plate that's like signed, and then they stuck it inside of the book, which is kind of it's whatever. Yeah, it's whatever. So I have number 94 from that. Um, I also have The Card Magic of Edward G. Brown over here, which is just a book written by Andy Gladwin, and it looks fancy, but honestly, it's just a normal magic book. Let's just say, right? So yeah, there's a study guide, and there is the rewritten, no, not the rewritten, but there's the reprint in there as well. So that is The Card Magic of Edward G. Brown. Next we have the deluxe edition of Before We Begin by Aussie Wind. So of course this is his book on pre-show that he released with Vanishing Ink. Pre-show is of course all the stuff that you do before you start a magic show. So I just think that this was a really cool deluxe edition because it rises out, right? It pops up by itself if you just open the bookcase, right? So that's a very cool feature. I have number 123. I have number 123 from the deluxe edition over here. So yeah, this is Before We Begin by Aussie Wind. So yeah. Next, of course, we have The Phantom of the Card Table by Edward McGuire. So nothing too special about this. It's just the Phantom of the Card Table, which describes some gambling stuff. So yeah, the Phantom of the Card Table looks good and feels weird. I think this is the first time that I've actually had a book that feels like sort of like faux leather-y kind of thing. So it's a very interesting feeling book, right? And of course the rest of this is just, again, it's just all the Marlowe pamphlets and then a couple of basic magic books stuffed over there. And so yeah, that is it for the first section of my magic shelf over here. So over here I have assorted magic books. So I have all my Paul Harris stuff. So I don't know why I actually have the individual Paul Harris stuff. So here I have Close Up Entertainer, Close Up Seductions, Las Vegas Close Up, and Close Up Kinda Guy, all by Paul Harris. I actually didn't need to get all these smaller books because these are the old ones. These are like the old Paul Harris books. I'm actually not too sure what edition this is, but these are like old. These are so I got not all of them, but I have a couple of older Paul Harris books. Yeah, so I don't know why I actually have one. I actually don't know why I bought these. I'm not gonna lie, because here's the thing about these smaller books, these smaller Paul Harris books, right? All of these are actually compiled in these books. So this is The Art of Astonishment, right? The Art of Astonishment by Paul Harris. So these ones are just compilations of all of his smaller books over here, right? So that is The Art of Astonishment. I bought these secondhand from eBay. It's always better to buy the book secondhand because some of them are out of print, and yeah, it's just a lot cheaper if you just buy them secondhand. So I don't have the dust covers, but again, all the information is there, so it's really no issue. So I have all of the Paul Harris books. Yeah, these are just compilations of his smaller books as well. And then I have most of the Jerry Andrus stuff. I'm missing like some of his notes. I'm missing his stuff on Yeah, I'm missing his non-card stuff as well as Curious Cards, which is his book on flourishes. I actually tried getting his. I actually have a story regarding Curious Cards, but I'll tell it later because it's from another book. It's associated with another book, but I have most of Jerry Andrus's stuff, so I have his Andrus card controls over here. So Andrus card control volume 1 and volume 2. I actually mainly just see volume 2 on eBay and all that stuff. So I don't know, they never really sell them like together for some reason, even though both books, like, it's really bizarre because you need both books to really have a complete picture of each move, but they never sell the two books together, so it's like really bizarre. But anyways, I found them together after a lot of waiting around, so I'm really glad. I also have the Andrus notes, which is just a collection of Jerry Andrus's lecture notes and photographs over here, right? So yeah, that is Jerry Andrus's thing, right? So the last Jerry Andrus thing I have is an original Andrus Deals You In. So this is one of his books, and this book is actually signed by Jerry Andrus himself back in February 1957. It is to Ralph Mayer, who I don't know who that is. So you know who a Ralph Mayer is. This is a book that belonged to him. It's actually really interesting because a lot of times when there's actually huge magic collections being sold, they're either being sold out on auctions or they're being sold on eBay. What actually happens is that maybe someone fell out of love with magic, or someone unfortunately passed away, and then their family just sells their stuff at sort of a discount because they don't really know the value behind it. So there could be instances where this sort of thing happens. So this is Andrus Deals You In. And so yeah, that is to Ralph Mayer, a signed copy of Andrus Deals You In. And I have a couple of Harry Lorraine stuff. So this is Dexterity by Harry Lorraine. This is a second print, I believe, so nothing that exciting, but Dexterity is here. Just looks nice, I guess. My Favorite Card Tricks by Harry Lorraine. Again, this is printed with Tannen's Magic from New York. And then we have Rim Shots, again, Harry Lorraine. It's like Angle Z from Daniel Madison. It's basically yeah. And then we have this is Close Up Card Magic by Harry Lorraine. Again, I think this is a second print. No, this is a first edition third printing, which means it's basically just a third edition. But yeah, so this is Close Up Card Magic. So you'll find that I have a lot of older magic books because I don't really... Here's the thing with new magic books. It's usually newer magic books remain in print for a bit longer, whereas old ones, they don't typically remain in print all that often, which is why usually if I see like older books as well, I tend to snag them up. And also to research magic history, it's a lot easier if I have the book directly with me. So that's why I tend to have the older magic books rather than all of the newer ones. So that's why I tend to collect old magic books. Here are two books that people don't really know about, which are Expert Card Mysteries and Expert Card Conjuring by Alton Sharp. So these two books have a whole bunch of things from various magicians, and they have a whole bunch of things from like Ed Marlowe as well, and other contributors English. So these two books, I think a lot of people actually don't know about this, but if you've actually seen Orbit Brown's Venus Trap, the original move is described in Expert Card Conjuring. If you've seen Daniel Garcia's Perpendicular Top Change, this is also where the move actually comes from as well, the original handling of the move. So that is called the Marlowe top change. So again, a lot of moves are actually published in Expert Card Conjuring and Expert Card Mysteries, but again, most people don't really know about these two books. So if you are interested in a couple of things, these two books are good. What are you? Yeah, okay. These are my Edward Victor books. So these are the 3 Edward Victor books. So we have Magic of the Hands by Edward Victor, we have More Magic of the Hands by Edward Victor, and we have Further Magic of the Hands by Edward Victor. So yeah, he's kind of a magician that sort of predates the era of Marlowe and Di Vernon, and some of their stuff have actually been inspired by Edward Victor. Like I mentioned in the tilt video as well, Edward Victor has a tilt done from the sort of front, sort of from the side as well. So that's where this move actually comes from. He never explicitly calls it a tilt, but it is in here. And yeah, I believe that that sort of side tilt actually inspired Di Vernon as well. So that is where the tilt actually comes from. So these 3 books from Edward Victor are worth taking a look at if you're interested in the era before Marlowe and Vernon. Oh, right. This is an old one. Kostya Kimlat. I'm sure none of you guys, most of you guys didn't know that he actually published a book. Most of you guys will probably know him from the Road Runner Cole, but again, he has a set of notes. This is signed to Brandon. I don't know who Brandon is, but this is a Kostya Kimlat book signed to a Brandon. So this is a second printing, and yeah, it just contains a whole bunch of his stuff. Right, so Kostya Kimlat actually published a couple of things. He published Roadrunner Cole, obviously. He published this, and then he also published something called the Undercover Switch, which I believe he briefly touches on in this set of notes. So yeah, Card Work, Card Play by Kostya Kimlat. We have Theseus by Nancy Colwell. Basically, this is a sort of book on this new plot called the Ship of Theseus. It's based around that. Which, if you don't know what the Ship of Theseus is paradox. It's basically, if you slowly replace one part by another, is it still the same card and all that stuff? So this is a plot based on that particular paradox. So the Ship of Theseus is like that, a very, very nicely produced book, like so. And so yeah, Nancy Colwell has some very, very nice thinking on just magic in general, sort of classical as well, but sort of modern as well. So sort of neoclassical, I would say. So if you're interested in Nancy Colwell's work, Theseus is good. She also has some notes, I believe, that she sells as an ebook, I believe, if I remember correctly. So you can go ahead and check those out as well. So Theseus is just a nice plot to really get to know. Ricky J's Cards as Weapons over here. This is very expensive nowadays. This goes upwards to like 300 or so because of the name of Ricky J. Right? Ricky J, if you don't know, has been a very, very popular magician, and as a result, all of his books have been sold out and now go for a lot. So even just the soft cover of this book has been way over the hundreds. I got mine for less than 100, which I'm very happy about. I'm not going to show any of the pages because if you know anything about Ricky J, sometimes it's not the best. Sometimes it's not the most appropriate thing to show on camera. So the Cards as Weapons, I'm going to leave it sort of tucked away. Yeah. So we'll just leave it there. But yeah, it's mainly for collecting things because it's sort of like a satirical book too, kind of. So it's not necessarily really for education, I would say. I mean, there are things for education in the book, but I think there are better resources for card throwing than this book. Next, we have a couple of John Rucker Baumer books, I believe. Yeah, okay, no, so this is a Richard Kaufman book. This is New Magic of Japan, back in 1988. Was there anything about this? I don't know why I actually got this. Yeah, I gotta revisit some of these books, because I actually don't remember why I actually have some of these, but this is a Richard Kaufman book over here. I'm just gonna tuck it back in, because why not? Card Finesse by John Rucker Baumer. Yeah, it's just very clean looking book. Yeah, it's a nice looking book. So that is John Rucker Baumer, Card Finesse. I still need the second one. I can't find the second one in print form. Obviously, sometimes I have like some of my friends send their stuff over. That's why you should get Magic Friends. If you never have a book, you guys can exchange information and be like, yeah, I'm missing this thing. Can you send some photos of this particular section? It's like I need it, or for whatever. So, because realistically, Magic books are expensive and you can't afford everything. So sometimes you gotta like bargain with your friends. So yeah, so if I ever can't find anything, I might just like reach out to my friend and be like, okay, can you help me with some particular section of a book, and then that'll do. So Card Finesse 2 I'm missing, but that's fine. Card Fixes, again by John Rucker Baumer, again another clean book. This is to Wendell. This is also signed by John Rucker Baumer over here. I don't know who Wendell is, but again, a signed book. And so yeah, it's just John Rucker Baumer. And then we have some of Stephen Minch's stuff. So we have Daryl's For Your Entertainment over here, right? This is one of the newer copies. Yeah. And then we have Daryl's Ambitious Card Omnibus, which is just basically everything that you want to know about the Ambitious Card. So yeah, this is a book that I highly recommend as well. So that is Ambitious Card Omnibus. A new printing of By Forces Unseen. I don't have any of the first printings, but this is By Forces Unseen, which honestly, I bought this during my Move Monkey phase, but I actually don't really like a lot of the stuff in here. Because during my Move Monkey phase, I was like, yeah, this is so cool. And then as I got older, I'm like, so this is so impractical. None of this is practical stuff. This is difficult. This is all, well, you can use them, absolutely, but they're just not optimized. A lot of these things are so unoptimized. I'm like, why? So I'm not the biggest fan of Ernest Eric stuff. I do appreciate his thinking behind a lot of stuff, but for the most part, I think that nowadays I would actually shy away from a lot of how he would actually handle magic. So yeah. Ken Krenzel's Relaxed Impossibility. So this is by Stephen Minch as well. This is signed to the one and only Soul Stone. So if you don't know who Soul Stone is, he is a very, very notable coin magician. I believe he was also a soldier. He's a veteran, and I believe that he was actually performing magic overseas to some children as well. So Soul Stone is a remarkable person in general, and this was a book that was signed to Soul Stone by Ken Krenzel. So pretty historical book right here. This is Relaxed Impossibilities by Ken Krenzel. Next we have the Card Classics of Ken Krenzel. I think this is a library mark, but this is an old, I'm not even sure, is this a, yeah, okay, I think this might be, is this a first copy, anything like that? I'm not too sure, but this is the Card Classics of Ken Krenzel. Pretty worn out. Again, most of the old magic books I get are secondhand, but that's no issue because all the information is still there. So yeah, like my mechanical Ken Krenzel stuff. So yeah. Some of Alex Hansford stuff. So the Neat Review, issue 4, issue 5. You've seen the cover of these. Very, very pretty, right? Very pretty books. Often, rarely that simple. Yeah. We also have Andrew Frost's Double Lift manuscript, which, if you've seen Andrew Frost's Double Lift, you'll know that it looks phenomenal, and so most of his technique is over here. Yeah, so this is, I think it's sold out pretty fast. So this is his Double Lift book over here. Sean D'Souza, Magic as Medium. Yeah. Mainspring, again, this is a reprint of Alex Hansford's old work. Mainspring, a very small booklet. And then we have his exclusive touring notes, his things that he published for lecture notes, which is Notes for Touring Purposes, which basically is just a combination of old stuff and new stuff as well. And Tannen's actually sold this book as well, so yeah, very classic Alex Hansford design language, right? Very bizarre, but also very, very nice. So this is Notes for Touring Purposes, and yeah. This is a booklet that I think a lot of people will not have. I think maybe like 20 max people will have it. This is Good Luck Have Fun issue 1 by Dennis Kim, who is not he doesn't really have any social media nowadays, but Dennis Kim is Tony Chang's protege. And so Good Luck Have Fun was basically a project that it was basically supposed to be like a new Magic magazine type of deal that he had on his Patreon. So this is issue 1. So he sent the PDF versions, the ebook versions, to basically all of his subscribers, but the physical book, you had to buy it. I don't know. So what's really interesting is that there's no text in this book. It's all photos. So you had to learn from this like via photography, right? You had to learn 4 moves via photography. He also had an issue 2, which was based on Tony Chang's moves. He never made a physical version of that, so unfortunately issue 1 is the only thing that we will have. But yeah, this is issue 1. So this is a relic that not a lot of people will see and will know of. So Good Luck Have Fun by Dennis Kim. Some Spanish magician stuff, Danny de Ortiz, Freedom Expression, Mnemonica, and letters from Juan Tamariz. So yeah, just some Spanish magician stuff. Usually when you buy stuff from Penguin Magic, they send you like a tiny little magazine. That's what these are. You'll have like some giveaway prizes, some stuff from magic decks that I had from the past. I think this is from the Mental Photography deck over here. No, that's from a blank deck. Actually, no, yeah, blank deck and Mental Photography deck. Okay, yeah. So it's just a whole bunch of assorted things. I have something from Bo Kremer, who released things. Remember when Magic things had like DVD formats? This is a DVD. So yeah. Oh, also, if you didn't know, Cardwork Card Play also comes with a DVD. So this is what it is. I won a giveaway from Jay Sankey, and he sent me Revolutionary Card Magic. So that was like from ages ago. So yeah, Revolutionary Card Magic. I don't know why I hope Magic companies don't keep making DVDs, because that's so old. Who has a DVD player these days? All of my Magic notes are here. All of my, the collective knowledge. My collective knowledge is over here. Ooh, don't fall down. Here we have Talk About Tricks. These 2 massive books. Like, this thing is a brick. Like, this is, honestly, like, I think if I drop this on someone's toes, like, their feet are gone. So this is a massive brick, and honestly I think I would take a lifetime to really study this. I marked off all of the things that really interest me with post-it notes, so yeah, so then it's easier for me to track things down. Jack Parker's two books. These are the reprints, along with one's a reprint and then one's in a new book. So 52 Memories and 52 Explorations. Darwin Ortiz's Strong Magic and the Annotated Erdnase by Darwin Ortiz. Yeah, Darwin Ortiz's stuff. John Cornelius, right? The award-winning magic of John Cornelius is here, written by Lance Pierce. Yeah, yeah, it's just that. If an Octopus Could Palm, this is the second printing over here. We also have Magic Musings by Rory Adams, who writes the newsletter, the articles, all that stuff, the One Ahead Magic articles. So yeah, I don't know how many were printed, because I think for paid subscribers, I did not pay for this. He usually opens windows for pre-orders, and this is what's happening to this. So there's a compilation of some of his articles into a book form. Here we have Clouds and Kingdoms by Nate Staniforth. So this is a pretty limited book run, I believe. Right, so there were only 1,000 of these made, so this is 825 by Nate Staniforth. So this is actually a book recommended by Aussie Wind, and there's only actually 2 effects that are explained in this book. But that's fine, because honestly there's a lot more theory here on how to make like magic presentation good, and honestly I agree. It's really solid overall, and you know, if Aussie Wind recommends it, you know it's good. So this is Clouds and Kingdoms by Nate Staniforth. I actually don't know if it's still on sale anymore. I actually don't know if it's out of print anymore, but 825 is over here. Next up, let me see if there's anything worthwhile here. Oh, this is a reprint of the card magic of Brother John Hammond. Yeah, it's a small reprint. I actually didn't know they actually reprinted these. I was like, huh. I never knew they reprinted these. And so when I bought this, I was like, this is really new. So it's interesting to see that there's actually still reprints of this. So this is a revised edition over here. So that is just an interesting thing. Yeah. What else? TK's card effects, nothing too interesting. Here. This is okay. So I don't know what this is. I have the story regarding this. So I remember how I said for all my Jerry Andrus stuff, I was tracking down Kira's cards, right? So I found a seller who was selling it, right? I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. And then like the guy was like, okay, I actually don't have the book in stock anymore. So I was like, okay, can I have a refund? And they're like, okay. And then when he came here, he just shipped this. I was like, what? What is this? And it's like, hey, this is your refund. I'm like, what? No, that's not a refund. This is a replacement. It was like, it's not even the right book. It's like, I didn't ask for this. And it's like, oh no, here, keep it. I'm like, what? And then, so I guess I'm stuck with this instead of Curious Cards. I'm like, why? I didn't ask for this. So this is, I don't even know what this is. I just wanted Jerry Andrus' stuff, and I'm stuck with some random guy. Here is an interesting thing. This is a scan of J.K. Hartman's card fair, which I don't know how this happened, but I found this on eBay. I was like, what is this? This is straight up a scan of J.K. Hartman's books. Like, I didn't know this. I didn't know people would scan them and sell it. So, just purely out of curiosity, I bought it. And I don't know why it's here. It seems like they just took photos of it, because you can see the book cover as a photo on top of the book cover. So it's like an inception of a book cover. It's so bad. I don't know why it's here. It's so bizarre. Because you can tell this was straight up a photo. This is straight up a photo of the book, and I think they just placed it in like Word, and then they just called it a day. So it's the most bizarre thing ever, but that's why I bought it, because it's just so bizarre. So this is photos of a sold out book, except they didn't bother to make it like good or anything like that. It's just weird. So yeah, it's just the buying experience of magic books is really interesting throughout history, I guess, because this is just bizarre. Okay, here, final shelf. 21st Card Magic by James Swain is over here. I believe this is where, because I was searching for references for the Mechanical Reverse by Ken Krenzel. This has a description in it. Length pocket stuff for close-up magicians. Yeah, honestly, by John Luca. I don't know why people don't read this. It's actually very, very good. So their stuff actually. This is one of the few times that Bill Kalush actually published. So if you don't know who Bill Kalush is, he's actually one of David Blaine's consultants, and he's actually notorious for never showing anything to anyone, right? So Bill Kalush, and Bill Kalush has some of the hardest stuff in existence. So the fact that he published something in this book was insane. So Bill Kalush has also, if you don't know who Bill Kalush is, well, he also opened up expert playing card company. So yeah, I believe he also runs the Conjuring, not the Conjuring. He also runs the oh god, I forgot about the name. Why did I forget about the name? I'm blanking on the name. But the library in New York where you have the archive of so many magic books. So he also runs Ask Alexander. So the fact that Bill Kalush published something in this book, I think was so fascinating. And truthfully enough, it is difficult, because he basically published an inversion routine, which means that basically one card was always reversed compared to the rest of the deck. So he published his version of the inversion routine, which was notorious for being difficult. Because there's like 20,000 moves in there. Next we have the physical versions of the Hermit Magic magazine. These are signed by Scott Baird over here. So these are signed by Scott over here. Yeah, so these are signed by Scott over here. And then we have, so this is the 2 set for volume 1. And then we also have the 2 book set for volume 2 as well, which are again signed, right? So yeah, these are just the magic. These are just the Hermit Magic magazine. Then we have Conundrum, which is from some Québécois magicien, almost Franklished. But here we have Conundrum. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will know when Chris Ramsey actually promoted this magic magazine. They actually came out with issue 2, but I actually didn't get it just yet. But issue 2 is on sale for Conundrum. I'm not allowed to talk about this because that's a lecture note that I'm not allowed to talk about. So we're going to skip that book. Paul Curry Presents, because I was looking at double lifts, very particular double lift. There's the drawback double lift from this book. So Paul Curry Presents is in there. Next we have the 3 Flourish magazines by Bizot Christian. Yeah, so here there's issue 1, launch issue. There is then the special edition for CardCon, and then there was then the issue 2 over here. Okay, so the 3 Flourish magazines. He's actually decided to stop making them because no one actually bought them, which is actually a shame because I think there's actually some really, really interesting stuff here. But buying magazines has never been really a cardist thing. It's always been a magician thing. So no one actually ever bought anything, no one ever bought these, which is a shame, right? Um, actually, let me. But these magazines actually come with playing cards, trading cards. So here there is Nikita Yetsik's playing card, trading card, and then Nathan Wu's trading card over here. Okay, so yeah, they actually come with some cool stuff. So I don't know why no one ever bought these. They're cool. So yeah, it's just weird. Parallax by Max Maven. Actually, where are you? Also, yeah, the Book of Awesome Cardistry Games by Biz again. So yeah, some more Biz stuff. And again, Biz has so many cool ideas. I just don't know why no one ever like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He's been around the cardistry and Magic community forever. So yeah, he has some really cool stuff, and I really hope that you guys support him. Next we have a couple of Studio 52 things. 3 things actually. So in January 3rd, 2023, there was an event called Cards and Coffee by Ben Earl, Ricky Smith, and Tony Chang. So this was basically just like a short like jam session where they talked about stuff. So Cards and Coffee was basically that. Yeah, it was just a very interesting little jam session. You got to sit down with all 3 of them, and these are the lecture notes that came out of that event. I Spilled the Coffee by Ricky Smith, which is basically just a reprint of some of Ricky Smith's work. And then I Was Kidnapped and Left in Taiwan, and all I got were these notes by Tony Chang. These were notorious for being out of print, and like only 100 of these were actually printed. So Studio 52 actually reprinted these. And so yeah, this is Tony Chang's notes. I'm still waiting on his book. I don't think his book is ever going to come out. So this is the best that we have. I Was Kidnapped and Left in Taiwan. So these are the 3 books from that event, which is Cards and Coffee, I Spilled the Coffee, and a reprint of Tony Chang's notes over here. I of course have his issue in ebook form from Good Luck Have Fun by Dennis Kim. So it is there. So technically he has 2 notes, technically, but one's in ebook format and no one has it, well, except for Dennis Kim's patrons when he still had that. But it's quite elusive. The Finest Magic of Pedro Lacerda. I cannot Spanish, but this was written by oh my god, I can't Spanish. You guys are just gonna have to read this. Francisco. Boy. So this is a protege. So Pedro is a protege of Arturo de Ascanio, who I love the magic of, and so he is also a spiritual son of Ascanio. So this is all of his material, a lot of his material, and there's also just like history, right? Just how he became like just how he views Ascanio stuff. There's theory, there's history. So I think that this book is very, very cool in general, and of course it's signed as well. So just some very, very cool stuff in general concerning this. So yeah, this is some cool stuff. Next we have Richard Hucko's Card Monster, who is an OG Move Monkey guy. I mean, I remember back in the day he published Subtle Concepts as well, alongside Joe. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce his last name, so I'm not gonna pronounce it. But Richard Hucko's Card Monster, and so yeah. Oh, whoops! I probably shouldn't show this, but yeah. Yeah, so here we go. Yeah, this is just basically expansions on his and Joe Savov's Move the Mechanics Shift. So there's a lot of Move Monkey moves and concepts in there, which is really, really cool. So that is Richard Hucko's Card Monster, which he recently printed, and it is sold on Amazon. So you can go ahead and get that over there. And then finally, we have 3 of Ryan Murray's works. So Curious Weaving, which is all of his work on the Fairy Shuffle. So here you'll have a whole bunch of interesting work on the Pharaoh Shuffle, on the Table Pharaoh. I believe there's some stuff on the is there stuff on the Anti-Pharaoh? No, okay. There's nothing on the Anti-Pharaoh, but Curious Weaving is stuff on the Pharaoh Shuffle, and then we have some of his lecture notes, and then his newest book, which is Supernatural. So only 100 of these were printed, and you basically had to like put your name down for it. I put my name down since he had a lecture on Shane Cobalt's Patreon. So this is Supernatural. This is a book. Which number was this? This was number, I believe it was 85. No, this was number 19. So this is print run 19 of 100 over here, right? So yeah, this is Ryan Murray's Supernatural, which is just an expansion on Natural Card Magic, his other book, which I don't have, unfortunately, because it is out of print, even though he printed it twice, I think. But yeah, I think that about wraps up for all of my physical Magic books. Yeah, there's really not much else. For the most part, again, like I said, I tend to purchase a lot more of older Magic books, mainly because I need them for reference sake. Yeah, it's a lot easier for me to find references and history with that. The unfortunate thing is that a lot of older Magic books are no longer in print, and if I do manage to find them, they are usually for very expensive. So I tend to actually go to the library, and I tend to purchase the ebook version of those older Magic books, in which is unfortunate, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do for the for the history section, right? So there will be a couple of things that sometimes I reference in my video that I don't have over here, simply because I have an ebook format, or because I ask my friends for help regarding those books, right? So yeah, it's not as extensive as I'd like, but Magic books are expensive, and unfortunately, I am poor. I am very poor because all of these books are expensive, and I mean, at least they look good and they smell good. That's a weird thing to say, but they smell good. They do. But yeah, so this was my extensive magic book collection. Could be better, could be worse. Again, I'm constantly adding new things to this library, and eventually because I have other books to collect as well, right? I have art books, I have aviation books, so I'm poor. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little tour of my Magic book collection. Again, it's not the best or the biggest Magic book collection, but for a private collection, I don't think it's necessarily that bad. Yeah, but yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Yeah. Hope you guys get started on your Magic book collection as well. Become poorer like me. Actually, no. Spend your money wisely. Don't be like me. But yeah, take care. Stay safe and stay healthy. And yeah, that's that. All right, see you guys. Bye bye. I guess. Ow! I hit my finger.